pretty marginal conditions here.
It is chaos and carnage on the Hawaii Dog.
This is fantastic sailing.
Team New Zealand are in a magnificent position. What a thriller it has been.
Good chance of crossing him here.
The 5-minute gun around the ends for race 3, Louis Vuitton Cup final.
There's quite a bias in the boat, you know.
Oracle coming in from starboard or the right. Alinghi from the left or port. The wind at 12.5 knots from 9 degrees. The course set for 360. They're going deep into the box.
Oh, Peter, I'm watching Alinghi. Looks like they're going to cross in front of Oracle, which tells me that the committee boat, or right-hand end of the start line, is upwind or favored. So look for a fight for that end. The fact that that Alinghi was able to cross over just the opposite of what we had in the first race, where Alinghi couldn't get anywhere near crossing and got themselves actually in trouble because they were coming in from the upwind, or the same end of the line, but it was just upwind in that wind speed.
So no dial-up.
You're 1 minute from the line, 116 from the boat, 120, 136 with a drive to the pin, 138 with a drive.
Peter, race management has set the race course up at exactly due north, and we've already had a 15-degree shift to the right. This breeze is building quickly. It was about 8 knots when they started the sequence, and now it's 12.5. And we're around to 15, 13, 15 on the wind direction. Looking up the race course in the short term, there's more wind to the left right now. But it seems like it's trying to shift right in general.
But you definitely think, you've got to go with them. So much to chill.
Look how far they've gone down into the box, deep into the box. Both boats holding on to port as they keep sparing off now, a long way down into the box. So here they come for the jibe. Oracle's jibing. Coming up at 2:45 to the start.
Ooh, and a sharp turn by Oracle. That will slow them down a little bit. They'll have to be careful to not let Alinghi get into leeward of them. Oracle showing me that they want the left by the way that they turn.
He can't swing, Pete.
We're above the lane, they're up in lane line easy.
He's going to be relative with him. He's standing just beside us, Jim.
Yeah, oh no, we're well above it.
220.
Get up there, boat. Come on. Up on the breeze. Traveler should be coming up right now, guys.
They've only got about 30 or 35 seconds to kill at this distance from the line, Peter, so they should get moving here fairly quickly.
Give me relative with him.
He's lower faster.
Okay,
2 minutes to the start. It's Oracle down to leeward, Alinghi in the windward position. So Alinghi is in the best position to get the right.
16.
And what Russell Coutts is doing there is looking underneath his boom where he can see where the other boat is. He can get his idea of the distance and the speed relative to each other and get ready to, at some point he's going to have to turn down and push down towards Oracle. So he's going to pick his time.
it looks good as that. It's at least that much, I reckon.
90 seconds.
You think he can get up there? Get close, I tell you. Right-hand shift coming down from the
The choice that Coutts has to make right here is whether Oracle can hold him out, hold Coutts and Alinghi out at the committee boat end with the lured rights that Oracle has, or if they can stay there and maintain that gauge between the boats and get a good start with that starboard advantage.
Yeah, I agree with him.
So it's 1 minute. Now, can Peter Holmberg hold Russell Coutts out? If Holmberg holds his heading, Coutts could be in trouble here.
They still have about 20 seconds to kill on this time. The line, you can see they're going straight at it. Wind direction still at 15 and 13 knots of breeze now. So
The
right
breeze
hand
is
end
spilling
better.
out of Oracle, spilling hits on there. Killing breeze all the time out of Oracle. They're trying to kill it. They're trying to hold them out. Cooch brings Alinghi's bow down at 30 seconds.
He's way down, Pete. He's way down. We're a lot higher.
Butterworth telling them they're way down, so Alinghi's safe. They're not going to be held outside the boat, outside the committee boat. As Cooch brings the bow up of Alinghi at 15, 14, 13.
Hold up now. Here we go.
Now comes the bow of Alinghi. Meanwhile, Oracle powering down the line. The start, race 3, Louis Vuitton Cup Final 2003, and Alinghi's got a super start right in the windward position, right over the top of Oracle.
Boy, Peter, that was really close to the line for Alinghi. A little bit uncharacteristic in my mind. I'm used to seeing Russell hold back just a little bit on the position against the line to be safe so he's not over early, but that was very close.
I'm one down where I normally am, right?
Certainly Alinghi's happy at the moment. A little bit of a right-hand shift. We're still at that maximum 16 degrees that we've seen to the right. So boat end was favored. Alinghi ahead already off the line. 12.5 knots of breeze. Now we're going to find out if Oracle has the legs in this smooth water to force Alinghi to tack away.
So Oracle is down to Lewin ahead. Can Alinghi live there? This is going to be a fascinating trial of strength.
Plan is, Russell, if he does tack, we'll tack with him, okay?
Out to my eye, though, Alinghi is just very slowly gaining all the time.
Nice here, really nice, up and off him at the moment.
Yeah, that's what Brad's calling is they're up and off him at the moment. Still about a boat length clear ahead. And remember that boat length is accentuated by the fact that they're also on the starboard side. Got that starboard tack advantage.
Hitting at the top.
It's more the angle we've got here from down to Lewin.
Loss of late. He's been a quick fast.
Right, so it's back and forth as this breeze tries to fill in. We've seen it shift a little bit more to the right just recently. 19, that's a new maximum right-hand shift direction. And the breeze is coming down just fractionally down to 12 knots. Both of these boats are about to sail into more breeze.
Oracle bow down. Look, they're trying to get their bow out. They're trying to get more boat speed.
Well,
Alinghi is certainly his bow up, and they're pointing higher. But you can see the afterguard of Oracle are just trying to get further advanced.
Well, and right now you see just the opposite happening. Oracle got into some pressure that Alinghi doesn't have yet, and now the angles are converging again between the boats. So it's definitely puffy. Both boats now starting to sail into a little bit more breeze. Looks like about 13 and a quarter.
Stand by, guys. Turning now.
Here comes Oracle tack.
Here's the first tack. And Brad Butterworth has already flanked what Alinghi's going to do. They're going to tack. So there they are, tack. Now surely Oracle's got to start bringing them here. Whitecaps appearing on the race course for the first time.
Well, it's a good time to tack for Oracle, really, because they can tack right back in good
Still
pressure.
there, boys. Just normal tack here.
Right, here comes Oracle tacking back again. Now, he's gone. They say on Alinghi. Will Alinghi sit on their face or will they go a little further advanced? Oracle just has to break the cover. Here goes Alinghi coming back at them.
He's got a little left.
Now, surely Oracle must tack soon to try and break the cover.
Well, Peter, Oracle has to get up to their speed. After you turn, you slow down a little bit. And since you're limited on horsepower to just the wind and the sails, you don't have an accelerator on board. You have to wait until the boat gets back up to that optimum speed before you want to start turning again.
Both yachts close to bow. There are Alinghi on the right, on the left of screen there with the blue trail, Oracle down to leeward, and there's just nothing in it at the moment. And what we saw was a bit of a left shift through the middle there where we saw that series of tacks around this part of the race here. The breeze went left a little bit, more from this direction here, which enabled Oracle to close the game up. But certainly they're doing a very good job of closing it up. You can see there the trails are converging a little bit there, and in fact it's Oracle that's got the legs over Alinghi at the moment. So this is a half-length advantage to Oracle down to leeward. There's Holmberg still on the helm. Chris Dixon at his shoulder, calling the shots today, tactician. Oracle squeezing through the tack again. And will we see a dip here, or will Alinghi be clear ahead?
I got him clear ahead.
Alinghi clear ahead. So Alinghi managed to get back to about the deficit that they had. They're ahead by, looks like just over a boat length over Oracle as they converge. I'd expect here to see Alinghi tacking to put that turbulent wind down onto Oracle. That's Oracle, looking at Oracle from Alinghi. Alinghi tacking now in the windward position. Alinghi have held that starboard advantage all the way up the course. Now, this is an interesting one here. They are, the amount of separation between the boats as they go away on port tacks, not a lot. And with Alinghi doing that tack, it gives Oracle the opportunity to put the squeeze on, and maybe just if they can put the turbulent wind up onto Alinghi, Oracle could squeeze Alinghi out from that windward position. So we're into one of these classical arm wrestles.
So here goes Oracle tacking, and immediately Alinghi in their face as they've gone on port for 3 or 4 minutes. And immediately Oracle tack back, slow speed tack, but they have broken clear.
Oh, Peter, I'm a bit surprised to see Oracle tack right then. They kind of sprung Alinghi off into the center of the course towards the weather mark and very close to being on the starboard ley line already. Now you're going to see Alinghi come back to cover. Here they go. Oracle should tack just momentarily here. I would have thought originally that Oracle was just going to hold out and wait for Alinghi to tack back. By forcing the issue, I think Oracle might have really took a risk. It may work for them, but I think they took a bit of a risk. When these boats come around the weather mark, they will be getting on to the opposite jibe as what they round on pretty quickly for better breeze.
So here comes Oracle tacking back. They're getting closer to the top mark, which is right out off the island of Tiritiri Martaki.
And Alinghi's made another gain here.
Left. You're not going to get it. Good build here, guys. Tacking at about a length.
Tacking at about a length is the voice of Peter Holberg, as Alinghi now just breaks left and goes on to starboard. Immediately Oracle breaks back right and goes on to port. So Oracle is out of phase. That's the good news, but it has cost them to get there.
And boy, Alinghi is got to be close to laying this mark.
This is Chris Gilmore on the high mode when you tack. Here comes Oracle, tack number 16, leg 1, race 3. So Oracle tack.
And this will be the last one in, Peter. They're overlaid. It's a good move by Oracle. They're overlaid to the mark. Alinghi, if they can cross, they'll want to come all the way across and just tack straight in front. Looks like they're just able to do it. And that will put the maximum disturbance on the wind flow of Oracle's sails, but Oracle will not tack back. They sailed a little deep, a little low to get extra speed so they could take that little shoot. You just see them coming off of it. They shot up into the breeze a little bit with the momentum of the boat, try and keep their air clear. There's the graphic of it, of where the disturbed air is for the lead boat. And if Oracle were to tack twice right now, they would lose about 3 or 4 lengths compared to just going straight and eating a little bit of bad air as they sail into this mark. Alinghi will definitely be ahead, but not by a lot.
And Oracle will be in a position to attack downhill, and we will see.
For the run, the initial part of the run is going to be port pole.
Whether or not Oracle can make inroads.
Well, one difference between the boats already, and there's the umpire. That's the onboard umpire, Brad Dellenbaugh from the U.S. right there. He is watching very carefully the overlap situation between these boats, calling on the radio to signal to the other umpires if there's an issue. He doesn't make the calls of who's right and wrong. He just gives information to the power boat that you see just behind the two sailboats. They're the ones who make the call.
Stand by, guys.
Race 3, Mark 1. Alinghi leading around the mark, but Oracle is close enough. Let's see how they go with the hoist. First Alinghi. The Louis Vuitton clock clicks off at 8 seconds to Alinghi. Here comes the hoist from Alinghi. Oracle right on their tail. Nice set from Alinghi under pressure. Oracle, beaut set. Now, here comes Oracle to attack. Oracle are definitely right on the hip of Alinghi, and they can get right on the ear of Alinghi. Now, this is where the umpires will be looking for the overlap and or when it's broken.
They will. Down the course a little bit, this will get close again. But right now, the first thing that's got to happen is Alinghi, as the lead boat around, was able to have a more gentle turn around the mark. Oracle was a little more disturbed air, a little bit more choppy water as they turned around, and they lost a little bit of speed initially.
Right, Brad Butterworth says we should jibe if we can first. That's the call from Alinghi, expecting to jibe for non-sailors. That's changing direction with the wind behind you.
And the boats are close enough. It's going to be tight to get that jibe off legally. They're okay, but it's close. Here they go.
Here goes, and here right on them, immediately in sync with the Oracle jibe. Now remember, these the asymmetrical spinning as Ed Bear can explain how difficult that is. Oracle's got theirs done.
Right now the umpires go to work. There is an overlap between the boats. The umpires will be signaling that to each other. It's very obvious. The leeward boat, Alinghi, has the right to luff, turn up into the wind. But look, Oracle has gotten going faster
Oracle
sooner.
is accelerated. Watch the shoulders of Alinghi, and look, the disturbed airflow is coming right down on top of from Oracle right on Alinghi.
Well, Alinghi just has their air clear, but it's really close. Oracle came out of that jibe and accelerated a little bit earlier and better than Alinghi did, partly because Oracle has breeze that's clear from behind them, and Alinghi has to sail through the bad air that Oracle was giving them, but also partly because Oracle looked like they outboat handled Alinghi a little bit, got their pole out and the sail set in the right way quicker. You can see there that Oracle has lost a little bit of its initial advantage. Alinghi with the horsepower, once they start reaching this close, it seems like Alinghi's got a little forward speed. You see the difference between the boats gaining and growing as we watch.
Now well into leg number 2, the first under asymmetrical spinnaker, and Alinghi is still holding on to the 8-second lead they had at Mark 1. They're still in front, but Oracle is coming at them and attacking.
Oracle right up Alinghi's exhaust pipe there. They've closed it right down to about a boat length now, perhaps a boat length and a half. There it is there, 35 meters. The umpire paying close attention to the overlap. He's looking up there because the spinnaker, or the gennaker on this occasion, is part of the boat, which can also create an overlap. But at this stage, Oracle not quite close enough to be able to make an impact, but with a long way to go to the bottom mark, Oracle does have an opportunity to attack.
Keep working here. Let's keep this strength.
Subtle course change by the team on Oracle to set themselves up for the next manoeuvre. Now, it might be a little way away, but certainly Chris Dixon now acting as tactician. Now, how significant is that?
There's a little bit more pressure on the side of the course where Oracle is. And they have gained. You see there, they're right up to almost even. He may be even a little bit ahead for Oracle, but Oracle's got to jibe and cross. So they need that number right there to be something in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 meters before they can physically do what they need to do to get across in front of Alinghi.
So they've got to get across and jibe. That's the point. So on virtual, they are 10 metres in front. It's Oracle to the left, Alinghi to the right.
No, I think he's coming now.
So here comes the jibe from Oracle. Good jibe, encouraged by Chris Dixon. No, it is a beaut jibe on Oracle. Super.
Look out. Look out. This is going to be hard. Can Oracle, they're looking like they're going to try to go behind Alinghi to me. Oh, this is hard. Boats don't like doing this. Alinghi's going to try to turn. Oracle, are they going to turn down? Oh, that should be a flag against Alinghi, I would expect.
Right, stand by. They're flagging them on Oracle. Watch out for a blue flag against Alinghi, yellow against Oracle. Blue against Alinghi.
Green flag.
It's a green flag.
Come down now, Russell. Come down.
Come down now, Russell, says Brad Butterworth. Green flag.
Well, the boats don't like to do this. This is tight on the wind. Mainsail's inside out. Boats heeled way over. This is a lot of strain on the gear. The teams have got to get ready for a rounding down here. Alinghi definitely going to be the inside boat. Oh, wait a minute. Here goes Oracle and another jibe.
Oracle's going through the jibe and immediately Alinghi goes with them. They are about 200 metres out from the bottom mark. Another wonderful jibe by Oracle. Brilliant. Not so good from Alinghi. Still taking time. Alinghi still hasn't got it completed.
Where are we, Keep it up, Russell.
Now, that was wonderful boat handling by Oracle. They've made a gain.
However, Peter, unless Oracle can still turn across behind, which they just can. Okay, I was going to say, not a bad thing for Alinghi. Oh, look out. Don't hit. Now, the rules in this situation, Peter, Oracle will have to turn down and jibe when they get to their proper course or their normal course, as long as there's an overlap. If there's no overlap, then Alinghi has to figure out a way.
Okay, what are we going to have to jibe?
Before you can hear the urgency of Brad Butterworth's voice.
And looks like a double jibe here by Oracle, driving their main over. This is a good move, used a lot on the Swedish match tour. Watch for them to come right back. Nope, Oracle conceding that they're going to stay behind around this bark, giving room.
We want to go straight on starboard. Get a top handle. So you just go straight on the top handle.
Mark 2, race 3, Louis Vuitton Cup final. Alinghi in front still. They led by 8 seconds at mark number 1. And the Louis Vuitton clock will click off as 13 seconds, so it's a gain to Alinghi of 5 seconds.
Wow, but look, they're having trouble on Oracle getting the Genoa in. This is going to be more of a game to Alinghi than it looks like. Alinghi, I would expect, would tack right about now.
Oracle tack. They come back onto port. Alinghi persisting and holding on to starboard as they are breaking left.
Well, there may be a problem on board Alinghi getting everything sorted. There certainly is on board Oracle. Look here, they're still working on the spinnaker takedown, and they never got the Genoa in. It's still not in all the way. Now, finally just coming in to optimize their upwind speed. Alinghi tacking now to stay in the match. A little farther apart than I would have expected.
Here comes Alinghi back now. They break back onto port.
What an exciting downwind leg. And if Oracle can just keep this close and make that sort of action happen again, they could force Alinghi into a mistake on the next run. But it's a long time, I guess, until we see that. First thing Alinghi's got to do is try to maintain their lead. The first thing Oracle's got to do is try to throw Alinghi off their game.
Approaching mark number 2, it was Oracle over the top of Alinghi. Close right up, go through a very quick jibe. Remember, it was Oracle that completed the better jibe here. They gained right up, then they put their bow down inside. Neither yacht quite laying, it looked like. About now, both boats dropped their spinnaker. And what was a big gain of Oracle couldn't quite be consolidated at the end. Around the mark, we saw the poor mark rounding from Oracle, where it looked like perhaps their Jenica got stuck in the sheet. They couldn't sheet it on. And then going up the leg there, the blue trail of Alinghi was happy to separate here. We see that so often. They're comfortable just playing the shifts and bringing it up to real times. Quite a big separation there, about 400 meters, and it's a 2 boat length advantage at this stage.
A little bit of separation developing between the boats here. Alinghi electing to carry on starboard tack, allowing Oracle to get over on the right-hand side. As they've worked their way up this windward beat, Alinghi have tactically been happy for Oracle just to have a little bit of breathing space, not really pounding away at them, not wanting to instigate attacking duel. But here we go. Here's a bit of separation developing as Alinghi carries on starboard tack and Oracle going out on port tack.
There's the separation growing by the second.
So he's lifted there now. He's
Bit
nervous.
of a right-hand shift there. Looking at that. That's Oracle on the right-hand side, or now the yellow trail on the left-hand side as we spin around out to 500 meters. With that sort of a separation, it doesn't take much of a shift to change the makeup of this game. And looking at that, Oracle gaining all the time out on that right-hand side. And Alinghi is just sailing so confidently. They clearly think that, it seems to me, they've got good boat speed. And they're happy to just sail the shifts. And as you say, Pete, just give Oracle a bit of room to breathe and keep a loose cover on them, sail their own race.
We got the lift, he's up on a hip, he's got the headers. Good for us.
Okay, the deal there is that Chris is actually, Dixon's talking about he's got the lift, so he's got left-hand wind direction. And Alinghi in the windward position, and we can see it there. We can see the different angles that the boats are sailing at. And Oracle in the leeward position is lifted. What they'll be hoping shortly is the wind will go back to the right. Then we'd expect to see them to come back at Alinghi, hopefully for them to make a gain. But Alinghi in the windward position.
Now, you tell me what you see. I see a better right still, don't I? Be patient.
Looking confident.
Stand by.
So here comes the tack from Oracle. They are at the port bay line, the runway to the top.
Virtual spectator shows that Oracle's slightly ahead in this wind pressure and speed of this direction, but it's going to be whether they can cement that and cross over.
They say they're in front by 15,
Yeah.
14, and they won't be able to cross over. They've got to be more than that.
Yeah, I'm just watching Alinghi getting a little bit of a right-hand shift as the Oracle team tries to accelerate, but boy, there's a ways to go here before we know for sure. But there's a lot of spectator boats up here disturbing the air, not intentionally, just by the fact that they're there.
Coming here in 3, 2. Yeah.
It sounds like Cameron Dunn talking about a puff.
Okay. I'd take a little height initially, I think. Keep the target, yep. Keep that 9-8 number. Yep.
Keep that 9-8 number, comes from Chris Dixon.
9.8 is a boat speed, 9.8 knots.
Coming into the mark.
Oh,
Don't
yes,
keep it on
okay.
the wind.
Thanks.
It'll make it look worse for him too.
Full trim, guys.
What's going to happen here is Oracle wants to go very fast, which means sail a little lower than normal, ease the sails a little bit. Alinghi's going to come across and tack, and as soon as that happens, Oracle's going to trim in and head up. There they go, they're doing it now. Trim on, Traveler on.
Yeah, go now.
So here goes Alinghi with the tack.
Stay on the wind out of it.
And look at Oracle turning up. They're using their momentum to get themselves in a position where they have better air so that Alinghi's disturbed air doesn't slow them down all the way into the mark. So they spent a little early to gain a little late. This is going to be another close match downwind, Peter.
Well, it's the dirty air is coming back onto Oracle.
Right hand.
I'm forward.
Okay.
Mark 3, halfway through race 3, Louis Vuitton Cup final. Alinghi in front, still. Alinghi led by 8 seconds Mark 1, 13 seconds at the last Mark 2. Here comes the hoist from Alinghi. As the Louis Vuitton clock is ticking.
Steady. And hoist.
12 seconds, so a gain of 1 second to Oracle. Here comes the hoist from Oracle.
Peter, I'll maintain that that's actually a gain on this leg by Oracle, because the 13-second delta at the last mark was then followed by Oracle having a bad rounding and not getting their Genoa in, so they lost more. So I think Oracle's gained a little bit up that beat. Nice job. Now we can see if they can get up there and push Alinghi on this downwind leg.
You have a preferred side.
Matt, please.
Any puff at all, I'll start getting strong, Chris, and then we could go into the match mode. Huh?
Little puff building here now.
Chris Dixon
Get him up,
positioning
Matt.
himself in the leeward position. And we've heard Peter Holmberg talking about the trade-off between sailing
Nico, if
deep
he does a fake,
and a little
you
bit
ready to stay
slower,
with him,
but
or do
to
you want to go the
tactically
other
get
way?
into
Think,
that leeward
doing something
position
different from what we did last time, be good, huh?
versus the trade-off and loss of boat speed.
And
Is
it
it
is
good puff
so
to go?
tactically important to soak in underneath the opposition like this to set themselves up for
this is
the
the shift.
next jibe.
We got a boat speed of, we got a length of boat speed on him down here.
Talent comment from Dixon there.
Here he goes.
Stand by. Transfer.
Jibe coming now. Who's going to get the Jenica fill first? Alinghi were out jibed in the previous manoeuvre, and again, Oracle have just finished a jibe and get the Jenica setting before Alinghi, and we'll see Alinghi having to put a bow up. I'm impressed today by the downward jibing ability of Oracle over Alinghi. Does give you a tactical advantage if you can
Gotta get a little
outmaneuver
faster.
the opposition.
Come up to match the speed.
And the wind shadow there,
Any wave and puff.
almost
ease it down
on top
over
of Alinghi, and they are closing
Next
right
swell.
down.
Just a couple up. Hold it right there.
What he's talking about there when he says a couple up is turn 2 degrees
Roll
up.
it down if you can. Roll it down. Get on
They
it.
are climbing right into them. They are almost on top of their air here.
Down with it, Peter. Down with it.
That's Dixon calling for Holmberg to stare down with the pressure,
Down the swell.
and they're right down on
Down
top
the
of them
swell.
there.
It's dangerously close there, okay?
I can't go any lower without getting risky.
We're hearing the call from Eric Doyle. We're getting dangerously close, and by that he means that Alinghi to leeward,
Yeah, but don't just sail out from under. Don't just sail out
the
away from
right-of-way
them.
boat can luff them to protect their position.
You gotta close it up if you can.
Oracle attacking. Now this time Oracle are just more advanced than what we saw the first time, and we see a luff possibly coming here from Alinghi. Alinghi luffing. Oracle must keep clear. Watch for the flags. Alinghi, Spinnaker, Jenica just losing control. So now Oracle making the attack. This could be the turning point.
This is super hot action.
What a super race, and this is a wonderful challenge from Oracle. As they have got by, they've rolled over the top of Alinghi, and all the time we could see the Jenica, the asymmetrical Jenica of Alinghi. It was starting to collapse, it was starting to wriggle, and this has been a brilliant attack by Oracle to roll them.
And right now you see that Oracle has broken the overlap. They're clear ahead on their boat. So when they get out to the edge of the course, if there is an overlap, Alinghi will have to jibe instead of taking them past the ley line.
So now the important thing, there's the overlap. We altered.
He's above proper course.
Protest flags are up. Green flag. Umpires are right there. They're getting the information from these onboard umpire observers. There's Dean Phipps trying to call the overlap for Coots. Here's another flag.
By 10 degrees.
That's 10 degrees high.
So now this is where the onboard umpires or onboard observers.
Oh, they're thinking about it.
There's an overlap. Dean Phipps reckons he's got the overlap. Look at that.
I'm above copper course.
Green flag.
So if there are any flags reminding you Alinghi is blue, Oracle is yellow.
Tell me if he comes in overlap, so I gotta worry, huh?
What I'd do, I'd head on the low side of the
Another
slope.
green flag. Now,
What would Dixon do?
You keep on the low side.
Side, and then we got
Overlap now.
Overlap.
Alinghi has the right of way.
That may be our angle because Dean Phipps hasn't shown that, has he?
No, but remember,
White flag up.
remember, we're hearing numbers from on board. When you hear 17, that means there's an overlap from behind. It's a green flag. Oracle stayed clear.
So any thoughts on how we
Oracle's yellow, Alinghi is blue.
Overlaps or not. Eric, it's you?
Still clear, still 17.
Okay.
It's always 17.
That's what
He's just surging in and out.
Okay, let's guys keep calm. Start thinking here. How about main trim on more or less?
And we
Start going up and down. Set some
Look,
waves.
there's the onboard observer
Eric, you tell me
line.
if
He's
I've
got his
got
own
it on board,
transit
otherwise our
coming off the stern of Oracle.
That's John Stanley from Australia.
The main on. Trim it on.
That's not
Trim it on to choke it up. We've got to slow the game
Now,
down.
as long
here.
as the
Slow it
overlap,
down, right?
Alinghi will try and cut them out to the...
our own full speed.
Oracle just needs to be further advanced by half a boat length to be able to drive across.
It's an exciting time for Oracle, but it's a high-risk place for Oracle to be. They get to the corner of the course, Peter, and they both try to jibe. Alinghi's going to roll over the top, and they'll be ahead at the mark. So it's a tough place. Well, that's actually what Alinghi wants right here, Peter, is for Oracle to break the overlap, and then Alinghi can keep taking them out beyond the edge of the course. 17, you hear that number, that is a rule number. That means the trailing boat has gained an overlap to leeward, and there are rights that have to happen on both boats. The leeward boat has right of way, but they have to sail their proper course.
Okay, what's your suggestion?
The weather boat has to stay clear, but they're not allowed to be forced above their proper course.
Okay, let's do it. Move, main on.
You might keep clear of him, but slow it down. So I'd over trim the carpet.
Okay, Dixon wants to slow it down, keep the overlap. They want to force the issue to get the other boat to jibe away.
Just keep clear of him.
Go flag as well.
30 seconds and 5.
30 seconds at 5. What that means, 30 seconds to...
There goes the Alinghi jibe.
Alinghi jibe.
Both boats will jibe now. Rolls reverse. Oracle with the right of way after the jibe. Alinghi wants to roll them with the bad air and push forward. Once again, Oracle does a better job jibing, even though Alinghi jibed first. Uncharacteristic. Now, here we go.
So it's Oracle now to the right, Alinghi to the left, Ed, rolls reverse, explain.
Oracle's trying to keep their air clear, top of the screen. There they go, they're going to luck, they're going to use their position to leeward. They have to give room for the weather boat to stay clear, but the weather boat does have to stay clear. And they're not really staying far enough apart. What's going to happen now? Protest flag.
Right, Alinghi is blue, Oracle's yellow. Here's Oracle still again. They're still laughing. Alinghi is blue, Oracle's yellow. If we see a flag come out here, this is fantastic.
Go again. Go again for the three. Go again for three.
As they say by our famous Canterbury rugby side, because that's what Oracle's doing. They're defending, but they're defending with offense.
Alinghi is ahead now. They're crossing. They're getting out ahead of Oracle. The umpires haven't made a call because there's too much action.
Come down here, guys.
Green flag.
So Alinghi has rolled over the top. Once it's all totaled up. We're giving out. There's no way, mate.
And there we go, pushing it hard again. Depends on if the overlap was broken, but these boats got very close together there, Peter.
Come on!
Brad Butterworth getting irritated and agitated. We're laying the mark. Come on.
angle.
So your proper angle to the
Yellow penalty.
As Oracle has copped the penalty.
We've got to come down.
If we're not overlap, sail into him.
Well, you get the adrenaline going, Peter, and sometimes you live by the sword and die by the sword. And Oracle has gotten nailed by being too aggressive.
Show me where it is.
Well, we'll listen for the reasoning from the umpires, but they've still got to keep racing.
It is.
Rule 17. Eventually, the last flag was in relation to Oracle. Oracle was clear astern and came up and hit Alinghi, and Oracle has been penalised.
Well, there you go. The long and the short of it is, Oracle was behind. They sailed up and ran into the back of Alinghi, and they got a penalty because of it.
That was the voice of Chris Simon from Great Britain, one of the two umpires with Jan Stage from Denmark.
But folks, this race is not over. Alinghi can still have trouble with Oracle here. Oracle's able to get in an overlap situation. Oracle could still lead around this mark. Trailing boat has to stay clear, but here we go. Here's the course view. You can see they have a bit of time to sail on this jibe, but they are not playing the mark. They do have to jibe, and if Oracle can maintain this exact position all the way down to the leeward mark, they'll be able to jibe inside of Alinghi and lead around this mark. Even though they have a penalty to do, they might be able to shake it later. Watch this. Lay line for the mark. Alinghi wants Oracle to jibe. Both boats are sailing above proper course right now. Green flag. Now it's not over yet, Peter. We got work to do still. Alinghi, the leeward boat, has right of way. Jibs are up, poles are off, they're ready for the rounding. Oracle will round ahead. Watch this.
So down comes the asymmetrical spinnakers. It is Oracle out to the left. To round Mark 4. And Oracle is in front. Well, Oracle's got by them, but they've got the penalty for their trouble. Mark 4, Louis Vuitton Cup Final Race 3, and Oracle around the mark in front for the first time. This is mark number 4. They do have a penalty outstanding, though. As Alinghi trails around Mark 4, 8 seconds behind Oracle.
Dummy tack.
So immediately Oracle come back onto starboard. Here comes Alinghi throwing it at them. They're right into it already. Alinghi breaks right. So it's Alinghi on port, breaking right. Oracle holding on to starboard, going out to the left in front.
2. End of the day, left's going to be okay.
27. 6 and 6 are the time.
Now there's the big high shot of these two, and we'll get a chance through virtual spectator to check on what the advantage is for Oracle of USA.
Oracle in the foreground with the yellow trail, still with a comfortable lead over Alinghi, but they need more than that. And just watching that there, they've just had quite a big header. The advantage line just opening out as that breeze shifts. It's been quite shifty and puffy up this beat. As we come up to the course view, we can see they've been on this big, long starboard tack. We put the advantage line on again there. That's 4.5 boat lengths. It should be plenty for Oracle to cross. We'll find out soon enough as they tack onto port. Head up towards mark number 5, the final mark for the run home.
What Oracle's trying to do here is maintain a strong position and gain if possible. What Alinghi is trying to do is limit the loss and stay in touch with Oracle. So Alinghi has gone to a bit of a conservative mode, and by doing so, they've lost a boat length on the long starboard tack across and another boat length on the long port tack here. But they know they're still close enough that Oracle can't get the penalty done.
Downwind of the mark here.
Stand by.
So here comes the tack from Oracle on the port lay line. This is mark number 5. Going into the last leg of the race. Oracle with the hoist. Get it Lovely set. The sail handling and boat handling on Oracle today has been outstanding. They're off.
Boy, watch this clock, Peter. There's almost enough time to do the penalty here.
29 seconds. Oracle leads as they head to the finish.
Pin on starboard is good.
Brad Butterworth knows the game. They don't have to win this one with that penalty owing by Oracle. They've just got to stay close enough. Oracle trying to extend, get it. They need to get out to around 8 boat lengths to perform the penalty down at the finish line.
Stay the runner up a bit.
Well, Chris Dixon is encouraging this crew, coaxing them, and also talking sail trim and tactics. Leading by 120 meters, they need another 80 meters or 3 boat lengths. Oracle have not made a gain on this downhill slide.
Well, Peter, unfortunately for Oracle, they've been sailing slowly out of the breeze all the way down this run. They only have 10 knots now, where they had 13 at the top mark. And that means the trailing boat has an advantage, and Alinghi has been able to take a half a length out of them since the mark, rather than Oracle gaining as they have done in the other races. What Oracle's going to try and do up here is get near the pin into the line. They may go across, or they may just do it right at the pin. They'll drop the spinnaker. It has to come all the way down, so the head of it is below the boom, which you see up above Brad's head right there. Oracle will drop their sail all the way down to there. Then they tack, and they have to tack and bear away to a downwind course again before they get the rights. If they do it correctly in the close proximity to the mark rounding, or the mark at the finish line, they'll have buoy room, and technically they'll have the rules on their side, even though they'll be on port tack by the time they finish. So it's a big move, and it's a lot of turning. And there, as you see,
so you'll have Cam down.
Alinghi has probably gained a half a length since they rounded the weather mark.
Bring him down for the horsepower.
You can see Russell talking, but he doesn't have a microphone on, so he's not going to tell us without getting closer to Brad.
He's aiming at it. He's aiming at the pin.
Brad Butterworth's picked up on what they plan to do. They're down to just over 100 meters.
I think it's same and maybe a little lane by the time we get down there.
Yeah, there's quite a bit coming, actually.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit increase coming later in about a minute.
This just is getting easier for Alinghi all the time. There's just no way there's enough room.
Speed, you know? And I don't need any jib on the turn, so I'm happy to have the thing fluttering almost. We'll go late jib as late as possible. Shoot drop at the right time. Nice little puff there. I'm going to soak that down.
Well, Peter Holmberg is giving the crew exactly the instructions. There's no surprises there.
No way. God damn it. Anything else we can do?
Maddie, we're going to put this on this windshield here, okay?
Look how close Alinghi's getting. They're just gaining all the time, actually.
Jib up now.
Ready for jib? Go jib. Go jib.
Inside 100 meters now, Peter. No chance. No chance. This is just...
Ready for shoot drop?
I'm sorry for Oracle, but it's not going to happen for him.
4, 3, 2, 1, go straight.
Oracle going through the drop. They have to go through a full 360-degree penalty turn here.
Ready for main? Yeah. Ready for main?
Here they go round the mark.
Got the head, got the head. Come on, guys.
Here they are. Alinghi charging down to the line. Oracle around the mark.
Cut.
Alinghi march on. It's going to be close. Very close, but Alinghi get there.
A little bit. Hold me.
And Alinghi has won.
And you hit the mark.
Another penalty. Red.
He hit the mark. He hit the mark.
Well, it doesn't matter now, Peter. It's another penalty for him, but, you know, it's a loss either way.
Here. It is